Reeta and Glenn on the internet.
Glenn and Reeta on the internet.
Are we gonna? Oh, Griffin is here with us this week.
Thanks, Griffin.
Hi everyone, how's it going?
They know who you are at this point.
Caleb has been working down in D.C.
Yeah.
And just with the timing of the draft
Having
and
a job and whatnot.
yeah, right. It's not like Caleb will be back, I promise, unless he gets offended, unless he says, or unless we start making money, in which case
Then he might quit.
he might very well. The
He might
moment.
quit. The moment we
He's
start making
out
money.
as soon
Yeah,
as the
it
money
might
comes in, he's
very
done.
well be that he's done.
Every time.
That's the way it goes with Caleb.
Interesting.
Y'all gotta excuse me. I feel
You
like
all right
I'm
over there?
So short right now. Like I feel like Diego Pavia.
Ha! Who's still taller than Russell Wilson. We make all the jokes
He is
about
not
the
taller than Russell Wilson, dog. That is not true.
6 foot to 5'11".
No, that's a lie. I promise you, that's a lie.
Russ is 6 foot?
No, Russ is 5'11".
Yeah.
Okay,
Russ
yeah.
looks 5'11". He looks 5'7".
I don't disagree with that.
Pavia? Yeah,
I don't
Pavia.
disagree with
They
how he
made that
looks.
up.
A couple of things. One,
Pavia's the same height as Reeta, probably. I mean,
I'm
Maybe.
telling you.
Yeah,
maybe.
If I stood side
might
by
be taller.
side
She
with
might be
him,
taller.
he might be a half an inch taller than me. Serious. And I'm 5'7", by the way.
Are we going to talk about it?
Talk about what?
How you and whoever your partner is are trying to rewrite fact?
Huh?
Y'all might have noticed there's a new image, some new graphic design that's been done on the YouTube channel. Can't help but notice that all of a sudden there's only one combination of names in the title of the show. Can't help but notice that it only says Glenn and Reeta.
Yes, that's
The
correct.
show, of course, as we know, is called Reeta and Glenn.
It is not called
It's
Reeta
called
and
Reeta
Glenn.
and
It's
Glenn.
called
That's
Glenn and
the
Reeta.
name of the show is Reeta and Glenn. I'm really confused by why anybody would struggle with that. Yeah, if you go to YouTube, go at Reeta and Glenn. No. There's no Glenn and Reeta. Yeah, there's no such thing as Glenn and Reeta.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that the
can't
YouTube
help-
page is like
Can't help
Reeta
but
and
notice.
Glenn.
Can't help but notice. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. All right. What's going on with all that, huh? Glenn and Reeta?
It's hilarious.
I don't care for it. I'm not all right with it. We need to do
I
something
love
about
it.
that.
No, we're not. We're not gonna do
I
anything
gotta
about
talk.
it.
I gotta see the lady.
Yes.
Um,
You know, look. It makes you look a little slimmer.
I
makes
did
me-
appreciate
it
that.
Makes me look
I
slimmer.
did appreciate.
Looks like I got a haircut because I have not gotten a haircut in probably like 3 weeks, dog. I don't know. Like I'm
I
too
got
la-
I
I'm
got
too
a haircut,
lazy.
but I don't like it.
You definitely got a
I
haircut and
don't
you was
like it.
acting brand new in here.
That's not true.
I
You're
missed
just-
that, Reeta. I'm gonna have to go back to that. But I'm too lazy to do it.
I am.
I'm
I'm too lazy to do my hair. Is the problem? That's the issue. Like I
that's
get
why
really what happens.
Griffin
Like
already
They
said
got-
you was
yeah.
acting brand new in here.
no, I get the haircut the day I have the haircut. I'm like, yeah, I look pretty good. And then the next day when it requires me to actually do a little bit of work to
Yes.
maintain it, I'm like, no. And then I complain about the haircut like it's the haircut's fault. I know whose fault it is.
Whose
It's my
fault?
own damn fault.
Yes.
This is a me problem.
What's your haircut outfit? Because they say like y'all be wearing like
Mm-hmm.
sweatpants and stuff.
Mhm. Well, I wear sweatpants all the time, so
Yeah,
I'm the
that's
wrong
true.
person to ask
Do you
this
wear
question
the gray
to.
ones with your haircut?
I do. I think I do legitimately think I wear the haircuts.
That's funny.
Do you have a haircut outfit?
I
that
wear
you
my
have?
I wear the
Of
gray
course you
sweatpants
do.
too.
Of
Why
course you
not?
do.
You
Of
know,
course you do. All right.
running errands.
I
We
didn't know
will-
you had haircut outfits. That was
It's to
a
me. I think
thing.
it's mostly unintentional.
It's a thing.
But she's right. Like I definitely do.
And then you go outside and you make sure you run your errands in your new haircut,
Mhm.
so
Gotcha.
people can see it
Okay.
and say, "Ooh,
I
your
do.
hair
You
looks
always
nice."
start with the haircut. You
Yeah.
always.
Always.
No one ever makes it the last errand of the day. No one ever
first
says
one.
like, I'm gonna go pick up the dry cleaning, and then I'm gonna run to the gym, and then I'm gonna. The last thing you do, even if you come in there stank from the gym, like I'll go in there smelling. No. I got to do it first.
That's correct.
Because now everybody else is gonna see me.
That's correct.
That's the way it works. All right, we're going to get into the draft as we move along, but we begin, of course, with Book Club.
Yes.
As promised, SkyKing.
Yeah.
It's the new documentary from Hulu. First shout-out I have to give, by far the best made of any Hulu documentary we've done.
Easily.
Easily the best made of
Because
any
all
Hulu.
the Hulu ones be made for TV.
Suck.
What are
They
the,
are
what
terrible.
Are the other ones?
Scamanda was a Hulu
Oh,
documentary.
okay.
They just
Yeah.
are all made for TV docs.
So there's a lot of like
They repeat the
It's just
same
fluffy.
cliffhanger, like a lot
Yeah.
of cliffhangers
Yes.
every 10 minutes.
and
Yes.
like
where
fo-
they're
and
ready
like
for commercials.
forced.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
very forced. Like there were
And
still a
it's- and
couple of
it's
those
like
here, but
fluff, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Where this one was made like a documentary. It
Everything was
sucks.
pretty critical to the
Right.
Fairly, yes.
Right.
more or less.
Poor
Now-
Caleb. He's not here. He's been
Oh, I
complaining
know.
about like why
quality
he
of the
wanted
doc?
no he wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
cleanse. He wanted to palate cleanse because the last
mean,
couple
this-
docs have been like people been dying. You know what
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying?
Guy died
that
too.
still
I
happened.
mean, yeah, but different way.
Yeah.
Like the way he died was like not
there was
murder.
not murder.
You
There
know
was
what I
not
mean?
murder involved in
Yeah.
this one. All right. For snack this week, I
Oh,
have
yeah,
provided.
baby. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I've got high hopes for these.
Me too.
As in general, I'm sort of on Cheez-Its, but I have high hopes for the Black Pepper Cheddar.
I love pepper. I love
Cheez-Its.
cheddar. I love cheese.
They
I
sound
get the first whiff.
really good to me. Well, yeah, you can pour out a few for yourself and then pass them
I'm just
around.
gonna take a nice little.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just gonna take a nice
By all
little
means,
pour.
by all means, take a few, and then I am pairing it with the new Sprite Chill, which is a mango citrus
I smell
Sprite.
it. I smell the mango.
So that's the pairing for snack today: Black Pepper Cheddar
That's too much.
Cheez-Its. Well,
Sorry.
you know, I mean,
I didn't mean to do that.
I can help you out. I can already
yeah,
tell these are pretty good.
right. Griffin's in favor of these. All right,
Smells really. The Sprite
All
smells
right,
really good.
there we go.
I'm not a
Now,
big.
You want to do the
not a big
you want to do the
soda guy.
Cheez-It first?
Yeah,
All right.
tastes like a cheese.
That's the problem. I need more pepper. I
You wanna
need
go
more
see if we have
pepper.
any? I don't know.
No. Why put out a black pepper cheddar Cheez-It if it's only going to be?
Well, here, this one's got a lot more than the other
Yeah,
one.
I had one that had a lot more, and it's still not giving me the pepper. That it's still more.
And it's
cheese.
more Cheez-It in the end. Like it starts with a little bit of the
Yeah.
pepper, and then in the end, it's just tastes
It's
like
a
Cheez-It.
dash of
Cheez-It.
pepper, but more cheese it.
Good thing I like Cheez-Its though. So
This is the problem. All
Maybe
of
if you eat multiple ones, you get the pepper.
all of you companies that make these products, no
Yeah,
one is buying this because it wants a little tiny bit of the flavor.
Correct.
We want you to kick our ass with the flavor. That's the idea of
it just
this.
tastes like the white cheddar Cheez-Its.
It really does.
That was a disappointment. All right, now the
We washing it down with this mango citrus.
mango citrus Sprite Chill.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still
Oh.
eating Cheez-Its. They're good.
Griffin really likes the Cheez-Its, apparently.
They're not. I mean, you're right. They're
I
not
mean,
black
they're just
pepper.
Cheez-Its,
Yeah,
but
they're not black pepper Cheez-Its.
you
but
can't go
they're
wrong
good.
with a Cheez-It.
I do think I like that.
This is refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Now,
This is a refreshing.
part of it is that I just remembered, I think we had this conversation. I had gone like the majority of my adult life without drinking Sprite. And then I was at
good.
Disney World, and I was just dying. And my wife like went to one of the little shops, and she's like, all they had was, they didn't have ginger ale. They didn't have, and I was like, you couldn't get me a bottle of water? She's like, they didn't have bottled water. All they had,
In Florida?
in Disney World, like inside the park.
In Florida?
I know, it was whatever shop she went to. She went to one of the little shops there.
Like, who doesn't have water in Florida?
So she brought back a Sprite, and I was like, all right, I guess. And I had a sip, and I was like, oh, my God, I forgot. Sprite's really good.
See, I only drink Sprite, I think, with alcohol. So that's why I'm like, I don't know, it's fine. And just
I know, I think that's pretty good, actually.
you want to
I
get
like
I
it.
think it's pretty good. All right. Now,
used to getting drunk with Sprite. I think that's
what's your go-to combination?
Well, I mean, typically not something with Sprite. I don't know any random drink with that. You know, they splash Sprite into it.
Oh, like it's like a topping of Sprite.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I
okay.
never. I mean,
I
I,
thought
never
it
drink
was like a-
Sprite. I never drink Sprite.
I
Period.
thought we were doing like a vodka and Sprite type
Well,
of
yeah,
bit.
that
like-
too.
But it's but you.
I typically don't go for that. No.
All right. I'm old, man. I'm washed.
Well, I just never
I'm
drink
definitely
Sprite.
old.
Period,
Yeah, it's
is
not
my
my-
point. My
not
point
my
is,
world.
I don't drink Sprite.
All right, SkyKing, let's talk about it. For
Yes.
those that don't remember the story, you go back a couple of years. It's not bad, right? It's
Yeah,
not
it's
bad.
fine.
Yeah. Go back a couple of years. It captivated the country the day that it was occurring. Here's a setup clip from SkyKing on Hulu for any of you that don't remember what occurred.
Yeah, 449. Did you just take off?
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to be on that aircraft?
No.
What's going on? Are you flying the plane?
I did a kind of a bad thing, kind of a selfish thing. But it's all good. I'm gonna go check out Rainier.
Yeah, 449. So you hijacked the plane, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
There you go. Young man's name was Richard Russell.
And what?
He
Beebo.
went by Beebo.
Beebo.
Beebo was what he went by.
Yes, Beebo.
What we knew at the time was very limited. Essentially, he was a ground worker at the airport in Seattle, and one day just decided to hop in the cockpit of a plane. Actually, the scene where they actually show you what he did is wild,
Yes,
dog.
when
Like
he takes it off of the lip.
100%. And then like the plane's already moving,
And
and
he jumps in.
Oh my God, man! Like that is even wilder. Like, it is brazen, man. So we didn't really know any of the details. We just knew this guy was out flying a plane, and I mean, we were watching it unfold in real time because you could like there was all these websites where they get the air traffic controller and they like post it on Twitter, and like it was a really weird vibe of like, are we rooting for the guy? Is the guy a terror? It was a really weird vibe that day of like, where are we at with this guy? And I think on the day it was occurring, most of us came around to like, I mean, he should go to jail, but I'm kind of rooting for the guy. And you certainly didn't want him to die. Like, you want him to land the plane.
Yeah, well, you didn't want him to die because you didn't want any other casualties.
Correct.
Yeah.
We didn't really know a lot of the backstory. And after it happened, he kind of left most of our conscience. Like, unfortunately, you know, if you don't know, it did have a tragic end, but only for him, thankfully. No one else perished. There was no damage done. But he did pass away as he ended up nosediving into the water. But after it happened, it kind of went away. And so when I saw the trailer for this doc, I was like, oh, right, I am really interested in, like, what did happen there? Like, why did it occur? And we learn a good bit about this young man's backstory. The documentary kind of splices between the day of the hijacking of the plane and you learning about him and his family and a difficult childhood and an abusive father and his mother leaving and not having a whole lot of money and going off to college, and college isn't for him.
And he was always a likable guy, though, growing up. Like,
That's-
everyone
Right, played
really,
sports.
yeah, he played a lot of
Mhm.
sports. He was the they said he was
Class
class clown.
clown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And he meets a girl and falls in love, and they get married, and she kind of becomes his identity, and he doesn't have a job, so he's like, she wants to start a bakery, so he just starts the bakery with her, and they do the bakery together, and he's kind of got this like sort of all-American life at this point. But then there's financial troubles, and her family kind of looks down on him because he doesn't really make any money. He can't provide for her. And so he takes a job at the airport, and somebody's getting a phone call right now. I don't know who it is. Is it you? Oh, is it the other phone? Is it the other phone? What you got that other phone for, Rita? What you got that other phone for over there? We gonna talk about this?
Rita's acting like it was my phone or something.
Mhm.
She knew.
Bat
She knew.
phone.
You know
It's
it was
my
yours.
bat phone. Sorry, go ahead.
There was a years upon years ago. I'll never tell you who it is. There was a particular Baltimore Ravens player who
was it?
wanted to come on the radio show one afternoon, the old radio show. And I was like, all right, bro, what time you want to call me? He's like, call me at 4:30, right? And so we call him, no answer. And it's very unlike him. He was somebody who loved to come on all the time. It was very unlike him to not answer. Like, this is really weird. We're texting nothing back, right? And so suddenly he finally texts at like 9:30 at night after he had been posted. He was like, oh, bro, I wanted you to call me on my other phone. And I said, sir.
You said, "Oh,
What?
Duh.
Why do you have? I know as a fact. I know what you do for a living. They're not providing you a phone. Why do you have two phones?" And I believe he said those three words that we all need to be reminded of from time to time. Mind your business.
Yep. Mind it.
Mind
This is
your
what Joe
business.
Flacco said to you?
Yeah, easy
Mind your
over there.
business.
Easy over there.
Mind your business. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, so he's got this all-American life and, you know, struggling because of money, because of pressure from his family, so he moves back to Seattle. He takes the job at the airport. And, again, you get the
That's
sense.
not how that went.
What?
You missed the whole thing. The in between this, the man got married to a girl.
I said that.
No, but did you mention the fact that they were well off and they were
Yeah, the
ones-
pressure from the family.
I didn't recall here.
Yes.
Maybe that was during my phone.
Yeah, it might have been when you were getting a phone call.
I might have been doing my phone call. I don't know.
He basically said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you
I
said
did.
move back to Seattle, but I thought that they were from Alaska.
Oh,
No,
he
they were
was
from
from
Oregon. Are they from Oregon?
They had moved
No,
to
he
Oregon.
Went to, went to college in Oregon.
Mhm.
He went to Wallace. He is from Washington, just not from Seattle.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At that part, I think I was confused
Yeah.
about.
He
I was
went
like, is
to-
he from Washington or is he from Alaska?
They heard his
No, it's just Alaska Airlines.
no, but his mother lived in Alaska.
No,
Oh,
because
she did?
the
Yeah.
car
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she was
100%.
driving had
Yeah.
Alaska
No, his mother
tag.
definitely
Wait a
lived in
minute, maybe
Alaska.
he is.
Yeah.
Because he went to Wasilla High School, right? That
I
was the
don't-
W.
Yes,
yeah,
on the field,
Okay, it
yeah.
is. Yeah, he is from Alaska.
Yes.
He went to high school in Alaska.
Anyway, moral of the story. Again, pressure from the family. They're well off. He can't provide, so got to move back. He takes the job at the airport, but he's not happy with that job because it doesn't pay very well. And that becomes kind of a central theme of everything that unfolded. That everything that led to this day, they paint as having started with his frustration about the job. He loved the travel benefits. He took quite a bit of advantage of the travel
He
benefits.
traveled around the world with his wife. It seemed like they were having a great
His
time.
mother was using his travel benefits. Like
His friend
friends
was.
were using travel benefits. Like that part, but the money became a really difficult sticking point for him, and probably exacerbated problems within the marriage and within the in-laws, because again, this all started with, you're not making enough money. You need to provide for my daughter, and he's not making good money working at the airport.
Right.
I'm going to share with you, I'm going to try to go which clip next. I want to go to, I guess this is the kind of controversial.
Okay.
Let's
I
save
think I
that.
have-
Let's
I
save
know
that to
this.
talk about it last. Let's save that one to talk about it last. Let's go to this, because they're laying out what he's dealing with. But you're still not sure, as again, they're going through the background, but then cutting back to him being on the plane, you're still not fully sure what is going to happen here. The air traffic controllers are trying to guide him to places where he could land the plane. I don't even know if he knows how to land a plane. I don't know how he was able to fly the plane.
Well, he said he did some research.
Yeah.
Yeah,
take
I think
off.
he went on YouTube or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but it did sound like it was still limited, where he was just
Correct.
it sounds like
Yeah.
this. I mean, it
And
was
he
all
said-
on a whim.
And did
more
he
or
say he
less.
played video games?
Yeah,
That was
which-
one of the other things.
which everyone has, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know,
not
like, I
going to be
played-
able to land
like,
a
'cause
plane, dog.
Like, because I played Grand Theft Auto, I
Yeah,
can, I
correct.
Can take this
Kill a
plane- I can
hooker.
take
I
a-
mean, really? The point of the story
Can
is
I eat more cheeses?
you can have more cheeses, sure, by all means. I think Griffin might give him a higher score than we do. So we get through all of this, and they're trying to figure out what the game plan is, and suddenly it kind of becomes clear that he does have an end game. And as he said a million times, he didn't want to hurt anybody, but we ultimately learn that he is not coming home.
What are you thinking?
I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Pun intended. Not quite sure what I want to do yet. I do want to see if I could land. That'd be cool, but I don't feel like living anymore. So that's kind of the problem that I'm dealing with.
I've never heard that. I've never heard him say that.
Yeah, that was his aunt. It's tough, right? Because one of the issues I do have is they didn't. It seems like everyone was both shocked and yet not shocked
Yeah.
by his actions,
Yeah.
right? Like shocked maybe about how dramatic it was, but also seemed to sort of be like, well, he was struggling. Like it, as we look back, it kind of makes sense. And I do have some issues with some of the presentation of what he was going through, and we'll get to that. But you realize in that moment, you know, okay, he went up there. He was never going to land the plane. He had decided he was committing suicide, and this was just the way that he chose to commit suicide. And I guess we should stop and say if you or someone is going through a problem, there is help, and we encourage you to seek help. And there is hope, and there is a national hotline that you should call, and we would encourage you to call or text 988 if you are dealing with a crisis, because one of the themes in this is the way that men struggle with talking about what it is they're going through. It becomes clear that he has chosen this sort of grand scheme as a way to end his life. He did continuously reference his interest in performing a barrel roll during the course of the conversation. And everyone involved kept saying, yeah, this is a commercial jet that you're flying. This is not like a single-person fighter plane. You're flying a commercial jet. What we're not going to be out here doing is performing a barrel roll. You've also never flown before on top of it. And this was presented sort of as like the climax of the documentary. I can only grab 30 seconds of it, but you get to this point, and it's a significant moment in the film.
He's upside down. Oh my god. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Hold up! Hold up! Hold up!
Oh my god, no, I'm gonna die.
So, but I guess you should know. Obviously, everything inside the plane is not real. They have recreated that. Like,
But that was that woman's video. I guess.
The video
That
was
found
real, yes.
footage.
the video was legit, as somebody was filming and posting to social media. And so he does indeed land the barrel roll, or nail, not
He
land
nailed
And
it.
I guess this is why it has such widespread appeal, right? Where it is a tragic story, obviously. Like it doesn't end well. There's really no way for this to end
I think
well.
the image of the barrel roll is viewed by many as like an act of defiance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out, but I'm gonna go out doing what
My way.
what I want to do.
My way.
And I don't know. I think that a lot of people have embraced that part of it, right? Like, I want to come back to it because I struggle with that part of the conversation as well. But the part that I think was the most controversial part of the film was they addressed one particular kind of off-color thing that he said during the time that he was out flying, as he was referencing the barrel roll and brought up the idea that maybe it could get him a job as a pilot.
Do you think if I land this successfully, Labs will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job of doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. No, I'm a white guy, eh?
And there it is. There's the white guy.
So,
That became a controversial moment because people was, he clearly says he's a white guy, and people politicized it.
he came off like I'm trying to create
Angry.
a grievance that I'm white, and white. This is the worst time in the world to be a white person. You know this person in your life. This person exists. This person who believes that we're the actual racism is the racism towards white people right now. You know this person, and we don't know quite enough about Beebo. We know the way he's presented by all the people in this documentary, but we don't know quite enough about Beebo to really know what's coming out in that moment.
Well, his family did a good job.
They did.
They did a good job. His family and his coworkers, I believe, at that moment, because we obviously couldn't get into that part, but they started explaining that somebody at his job essentially told him, you ain't
He went
white.
back to school to
Yeah,
get a
He did
degree
all of this
because he
stuff.
wanted to get promoted within
Right.
the
He did all of this stuff to try to get
the
promoted.
airport, the Alaska,
Right.
whatever.
And when he went to them and said, I did all the work, the guy was like, well, you're white, you're not going to happen. But the sister then says, well, we know that that's not why he didn't get promoted, because the person that did get promoted was white.
Correct.
There's a black man in this documentary that was his coworker that he trained, and he said that he never heard him have any racial talk or whatever. So basically they use that as an excuse to not hire him, essentially, but then hired somebody that was white.
It's
and it really was a classism issue more because they viewed him as a redneck.
Yes, essentially.
A redneck white, yeah.
Right, correct. Or just someone maybe
Damn,
that.
these Cheez-Its up, by the way.
Apparently, y'all are really big fans of the Cheez-Its. I thought they.
It got better.
I thought they were meh.
But then I started eating more, and I feel
y'all
I taste
are in
the
on the
pepper. But go ahead.
Cheez-Its. I struggled with this because I thought there were some other context clues. Like there was an awful lot of defensiveness of like, oh, we might be religious conservatives, but we're not racist. Like
While wearing a certain hat.
Yeah.
And they keep showing the one brother who's just shooting guns
Yep.
the whole
Yeah,
time.
like there's a lot of that makes you say like, I don't know, man. Like I don't
We don't know these
don't
people,
know,
right?
right?
But
And it's
But he
tough.
does seem like a cultured type of guy, and maybe that's just because he traveled. But like, you can't travel the world as much as he did and kind of have a closed-minded view, right? Like that's.
yeah, sometimes you can. But I think people like the remember in the doc, the mother was like, we're traditional conservatives.
Right.
I don't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
I think she was just trying to separate herself from
Her.
what we see conservatism as
I
in
guess,
today's
but like,
world.
but we talk about his father was an a-hole, and
Mhm.
that was like she had to leave. Like nothing about that about their upbringing was traditional. So like that's what is very confusing, and I feel like he, I don't know.
I don't know. I struggled with it. I struggled with it.
I mean, out of context, it sounds really bad.
Out of but I don't know what the context is
I
because
don't know.
the
I mean, like-
context being presented as well. He only said that because this person said they wouldn't give him the job. When immediately the next evidence you have is, well, that person that got the job was white, so that kind of doesn't work. It does feel more of the I want to be aggrieved. I want to make it seem as though I am in the situation I am in because I am white and the system is working against me right now as a white man, which just it just doesn't fly.
Which at the end of the day, I mean, it had nothing to do with you being white. It had everything to do with like who you were. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like you didn't come from a well-known family or a well-off family. You didn't have a silver spoon in your mouth, and that's really what it boiled down to. They didn't look at you any different than they looked at that black ass man that you trained, and that was the reality of the situation. But
and that's why I struggle with the fact that he
believed.
was still thinking that way. Now again, it's a difficult way to try to get into that person's brain because clearly he was having a meltdown at the time. So all of it is difficult. I don't know how I feel about it, but it all adds up to why I'm comfortable. They get to the end, and sort of the end of the documentary after he passes away is sort of about the way that he's become almost this like hero figure to a lot of people online. He's become, I don't know,
Opposite ends of the spectrum too, which is
a little, yeah. And I'm very uncomfortable with that. Like that left me very uneasy. I don't know. I where I struggle is I think it was a well-made documentary, like a really well-made documentary. But I think they wanted it to tie together with like, yeah, he just had a tough time, and I still struggle with like dude, you put a lot of people in a lot of danger.
Yes, you did.
And sort of celebrating like, well, he kept saying he didn't want to hurt anybody. Yeah, but he didn't have any idea what he was doing.
Correct. To the point where they had to get a pilot that knew how to fly that plane to get on the phone and like try to talk to him. Like, how much gas do you have? Like, I mean, they are asking him constantly, how much gas do you have? And he doesn't know, but they know. They're documenting like, oh, he only got 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes.
And they did a good job. They did what you would do in that situation. They got fighter jets out. They kept, obviously he wants to stay away from the fighter jets because he knows that if he gets too close, they're going to shoot him down. So like you can say, hey, well, it worked out, but that the process and result are still really important to me. And to say the result was, well, he didn't hurt anybody else, yeah, there's an amount of luck that led to that being the result. The process was a massive problem. And he would have been rightfully tried for an awful lot of things. And as he kept referencing, he would have been in jail for a very long time had somehow he managed to land that plane. So I very much struggle with, even that scene with the barrel roll, like, Don't get me wrong. It is badass. The guy did I can't lie about that. It is badass as hell. The guy did a barrel roll in a commercial. That's insanity. But at the same time, like, playing, what is that? The now and forever that you always hear in every commercial. And I don't know what that song is. I mean, but you hear it in every effing commercial and every dramatic scene in every movie ever.
They played over random sports highlights.
Yes,
now.
constantly.
Yep.
God, we should know what that song is. I don't know why I can't think of what it is. But like
Richard Marx, that can't be it.
Is that it? Really?
No.
No, that's a different song. But like that, it rubbed me the wrong way. I did not like the idea of portraying him as a hero whatsoever.
It don't surprise me though. Like I'm never surprised when people pick the bad guy. Like in wrestling, people like the heel. It just is what it is. People always like the bad guy, and so it did not surprise. Now I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I laughed a whole lot through this.
Well, the way that he would react to, like
just the conversations that he was having. Like
the way that he would say, like, nah.
Yeah, like. You know, like him talking, and he like whisper sweet nothings in my. I mean, it was clearly serious, but like, I'm sorry, like I just was laughing. I know.
Well, he was kind of. I mean, for lack of a better, he was kind of down to earth, like understanding this was a stupid thing to do, and I mean,
but at
I
that
know
point,
you're
but
saying,
it was too late.
I know.
I think he knew all along what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever any
doubt. Plane,
whether
it was in
he
Seattle or
somewhere else.
As he referenced, he never had any interest in going. He knew he would go to jail. He never. The only things that we don't really know, right, is what happened. Did he go that day and premeditate all of it? Did he the night before? Here's how the day is going to go. I worked it all out. Did something fire in his brain at like 10:30 that
or
day?
Did something happen?
That set him off. He talked about the way the pilots would talk to them, and that would set him off. Those are things that we'll never know because you can't talk to him and ask him those questions to find out what the answers are. So we'll never know all of that. But in the end, like it's not even that I necessarily like. Is he a bad guy? What he did was very bad. Obviously, I don't know that he's a bad guy. And again, like the way that he was talking would make you think that he wasn't a bad guy.
Which is why I think people liked him, because when you listen to like the tidbits that you might have heard on like news stories, he didn't come off as being a bad guy that was trying to be malicious in terms of like hurting people. I think that's why people like gravitated to him.
There's a line between, hey, this person was complicated and went through a serious mental health episode and clearly had some major mental health problems, and we can have that conversation without trying to portray him as a hero.
He ain't no damn hero.
That's the
he
part.
He just had moments that I thought was funny or cool.
I know,
but at the end of the day, he wasn't no goddamn hero. Like I just was like, at the end of the day, he should have tried to land that damn plane, and he should have got his ass locked up. That was where I was at with it. Lock his ass up, okay? I was like, somebody help this man land this plane and lock him up. I mean, obviously we knew how it ended.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that he never had. Like they might have even told him, like, by the way, you have an ejector seat, and he would have been like, yeah,
it doesn't matter. I mean, I just
like. They were laying out all the scenarios for him, like you could land it in the water, and he was like, right, but then I drown. And they're like, no, there's boats out. We'll
and he's
get
like,
to you.
yeah, nah, because
like,
then y'all gonna take me to jail.
Right.
And so he knew exactly what it was. And so for me, it was like, while there were times that I was entertained by him when I'm watching this doc, it never made not one time that I was like, oh well, I feel
he was never a martyr.
Yeah,
lock his ass up.
I was not sympathetic. I think you can be empathetic without being sympathetic all the time. I was empathetic towards someone who was struggling, right? Like we all struggle.
Sure.
I also the thing where I'm a man's or where you try to we can't talk about it. The media says we can't talk about it. Like, man, no, you are responsible for your actions.
It was 2018, I guess. Does that change any part of it?
Yeah, I mean,
no. And then also too, right? Like at the end of the day, right? Like imagine being the person that was at that airport, and now your day is ruined because somebody decided they want to joyride a goddamn plane. I can't even imagine. That would have pissed me off.
Well,
bad.
And one of the obviously there were a couple people missing from the documentary. His wife, of course, was missing significantly. But the only time we heard the voice of the actual, what was the name of the Andy? Was that the name? Who the name of the
HEC? Yeah, the air traffic.
Yeah,
right.
the only
Andrew, right?
Andrew, was that what it was?
I think it was Andrew.
Yeah, it was Andrew.
He was pretty good.
I thought he did as good of a job as he can do in those circumstances. But he didn't do any interviews. They just had his voice from the actual, from the day, from the incident. So I think he probably is dealing still with a lot of.
100%.
They talked about at the end how scarred he was by this event,
100%.
and people say that all the time. Like when we talk about suicide, we say, well, you're in control and it's only you, nobody else is affected by it. But nobody says, well, what about the person that finds you?
Mm-hmm.
And like what that does.
And that's not true. It's always a domino.
Correct. And the trauma that they experience because of it. And it doesn't mean that everyone who commits suicide is an evil person or a monster or anything along those lines. But it's the notion that we talk about it as if it only affects one person.
Right.
And it is absolutely not true.
I agree.
Like,
and that was no different in this case.
Correct.
None.
There is no doubt that guy, Andrew, has serious scarring from spending the day spending time getting to know this person, trying to help them, doing everything they can.
And he's not signed, like, that's not his job.
Correct.
He's like air traffic controller. Now all of a sudden he got to be a hotline specialist. I can't even imagine having to be put in that position knowing I have no training to talk somebody down. All I just know is air traffic jargon. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I have some type of compassion for people to say, hey, don't do that. Don't kill yourself.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So that's that. The only issue I really had with the documentary was the way that was presented and the song with the barrel roll and like that sort of like hero moment. I didn't.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed because I was like, "This is so ridiculous."
I understand. God, we gotta.
The song was so ridiculous.
It's called "Outro"
Yeah, I
by
think that's right.
M83. That's the name of the song, and you've heard it. You know, as soon as you hear it. Yeah, Griffin's got it. As soon as you hear it, you'll be like, oh, my God, I've heard that a million times. And you have, because in situations like this. And the choice of that song, and then, like, cutting back to all of his friends and family members who are smiling.
Yes.
And
like they were, like, so happy. And I was like,
did a barrel
right,
roll.
and I was
correct.
like,
amazing.
I was like, am I the only, like, sane person out here? Like,
well,
what
how about
the fuck?
one of them said, I can't remember if it was his brother. Like, one of them said, man, think about everything he could have done. He was out here. No one thought he could do a barrel roll, and yet he did, like, acting like
He
it was
did it. He did a barrel roll.
like something that he had been working to accomplish for years, and not just probably more luck than anything else.
He could have been a pilot if he wanted to.
Right.
Well, you should do monologue now and make sure you peak right at the time of the. I don't know how long.
I don't
know how long this takes to crescendo.
I've only ever heard that one part of the song, so
Right.
I actually don't know, like, how to hit the post in this circumstance.
And I was
It's
just
going to be
like,
very difficult
what?
for me. Yeah. All in all, really well made doc.
Yes, I agree with
Worth the watch. Yeah,
That's
that's the part. Yep.
That's the part. Because this feels triumphant, right? When
Yep.
you hear this song. This man stole a goddamn airplane. He stole a goddamn airplane. They played this music while the man stole an airplane and did a barrel roll, and he didn't know how to fly a goddamn plane. I cannot believe you're on this goddamn documentary. This? Really? And he stole an airplane? He committed a federal?
He did a barrel roll,
crime.
Rita.
He committed
It was
a
amazing.
Have you ever done a barrel roll? Have you ever? Huh? You're acting like we could all just go out there. We could all just go hijack a jet and go perform a barrel roll today.
He committed a federal felony, and they played this in the background. We are an unserious country, I swear to
The
God.
barrel roll wasn't the illegal part.
You know what it reminds me of, actually? It reminds me of, did you ever watch the, what was Anna Delvey? Did you ever watch that? The woman that was stealing money from all of her friends, like using fake credit cards and like created this
haven't.
lavish style.
She sounds
I don't remember if it
terrible.
was a documentary, if it was like a scripted series, but it was
Okay.
based on a real person.
Okay.
And like the argument that they were making was, yeah, but look at all of her fashion. Like, look at how fashionable she is.
Like, that made it okay.
Like, legitimately, like she was adding something to society because look at her looks.
Oh, my God.
She is slaying looks
Oh
in
my
a
God.
courtroom.
I
I'm
can't.
like, what is, are you
I can't.
out
I
of your
can't.
mind? She's a monster.
I can't.
Anna Delvey is her name, and it was Inventing Anna, I believe
Oh,
was the
I
name
remember.
of
It
the
was like a
series.
mini-series. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't watch it, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll drive you effing insane.
I just don't understand y'all.
I believe I was Anya Taylor-Joy. No, Julia Garner from Ozark, right? Not I believe was played her.
cares.
Anyway, sorry.
She
Anyway.
was the dark side. That's what.
What?
This was. I'm trying to figure out what was the show called.
Inventing Anna.
Oh, Inventing
That's
Anna.
exactly what it's
Okay.
called. Yeah. Anyway, moral of the story being scores.
Yeah, it was Julia Garner.
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I thought it was really good. The only reason why it doesn't get higher than me because of that dumbass music that they put at the end, at celebrating that man doing an illegal crime. Like, get out of my face, man. Like, are you serious? Outside of that, I thought it was very well done. I was compelled from start to finish. Good.
Griffin?
I mean, I thought I was in the end I might have liked it more than Reeta, I guess, but I settled on 8, just 8 even. Thought it was very same thing. I thought it was very well done. Just a couple, I guess, of it would have been, and of course, the scarring of his wife and the air traffic controller.
Yeah,
it would have been really interesting to hear.
I would have. Oh my gosh, I would have loved to.
But I guess you have to kind of understand that it was a traumatic. Obviously,
and like even learning that she doesn't really even talk to his family anymore. I've been through that where one of my buddies passed away, and I adored his wife. His wife and I were incredibly close, and we went out maybe a couple of times to dinner after he passed away just to chat. And then within like a year, she had kind of separated from everybody, and I remember a lot of his family being really hurt by it. And I was hurt because I loved her, but I remember being out with him one time and saying, I really do think I understand. Like it hurts me, but I think I understand that like processing this is very difficult. And like when I see you, I think about it, and it like goes through the pain again. I can get it, and I certainly understand why she didn't talk. 7.5, I think is where I am. Still, I was just so bothered. I was so bothered by it. Like, that scene sucked, man. It sucked. And to try to create, like, a hero narrative.
Crazy.
It felt like more like you were...
Sounds like you're jealous you can't do
the
a
barrel roll. That might be... But it just feels like the filmmakers really kind of fell in love with him as they were making the film. And so they
got
kind
fanboy or girlish.
Yeah, and so they just felt so bad for the family that they, like, kind of felt like they had to do it that way. Maybe it's too much, because I do think otherwise it was a really, really, really well-made documentary, but that rubbed me the wrong way, so I'm dropping it to a 7.75. All right, quickly, the Sprite.
That's a 7 for me. I just don't like soda, but from a soda perspective, I enjoyed it. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like I just don't have. You got to take it with a grain of salt. What I say, because I'm just not a Sprite drinker.
You need to
I don't
try
drink
to be
soda
fair.
either.
Yeah, none of us drink. I only drink ginger ale. It's the only soda I drink.
Same.
At all.
I mean, it sounds like a 6.5. 6.5. Doesn't blow me away.
I think I'm gonna bump it up a little bit more than that. I think that's a 7.5. It's very refreshing.
Okay.
It's very refreshing. It has that little bit of that kind of spice that you get from a Sprite that I like, so I enjoyed it. And then the Cheez-Its.
So it was originally a 5.5 for me. It's 6.5 because as I started eating more of them, I started tasting the pepper. But it was still.
I honestly don't know if I really tasted the pepper all that much, but they are Cheez-Its, and they are good, and they're Cheez-Its. So 7.5. 7.5.
That's still good enough of the pepper. That's a 6. That's really a 5.5. I gotta be honest with you.
Just hate them.
This is the problem. Why make the product if it's just going to be a Cheez-It? We have Cheez-Its. We don't need this product.
I agree.
I know what a Cheez-It is.
I agree.
On, man. You said
7.5.
7.5. All right.
My height.
All right. Let's talk some draft.
All right. Let's do it. Draft time.
I did. I worked this NCL lacrosse. It's this HBCU lacrosse league. And it's very cool. They have a DJ playing the whole time.
Ooh.
Like, it's cool. And he was playing Chillin' by Wale as I was walking out to the field. And how old is that song now? I mean, that's got to be like 09, 10, somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
And so these are all college kids, right? Like, they don't know it at all.
Yeah, I play the new stuff.
Like, I don't think they were offended. I think they thought it was fine. Like, I think they liked the beat and all.
09, yeah.
But I was like, every word, right?
You knew it all.
Like, DC. I'm like belting out the whole thing. And they're all kind of looking at me like, and I just realized, like, oh, it's not because I'm white. It's because I'm old. They don't know this song. They were 2 when this song came out. They are not familiar with it whatsoever.
Exactly.
All right, the Ravens made their picks this weekend. Boatload of new players. It started with Venga Ioane in the first round. continue with Zion Young in round 2, Jacoby Lane in round 3. Reeta, let's break down a couple of angles of it. First, we begin with Ioane. I think the only real question, it's twofold. Are you ever okay with them taking a guard when they have the 14th pick? And then combine that with Ruben Bain was on the board. They chose Ioane over Bain. Are you all right with that?
Yes, because when we talked about this, when we did our draft
Preview,
Big was first. So for me, I said now give me my props because I told you that Bain was. I had a feeling Bain would be available. I just kind of felt like that was how the draft was going to flow. It did, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to have a problem with protecting Lamar. I know we love Ruben Bain, and I do, but I am a bit concerned about the arm length. I am. So if you're asking me if I would rather take a mauler at guard to protect your most prized possession, Lamar Jackson, over a guy that I do think has a lot of talent, but you're a little concerned about the arm length when in playing against offensive tackles, I'm going to go with protecting Lamar every single time, and that's where I'm at with that.
I'm torn because I'm not down on Ioane at all, right? Like, there's no negative that I can have about Ioane whatsoever, right? Like, he's a great run blocker. He's a great pass blocker. There is nothing to not like about Venga Ioane. It really just did come down to me, too, but Ruben Bain was on the board, and I understand the argument about his arm length, but he plays so violently that I just think Ruben Bain might be a difference ass kicker, true game changer for the next 10 years. And between an edge rusher and a guard, I'm going to choose the edge rusher 10 times out of 10. Now, the bigger need was definitely guard, as we talked about it. Like, that was clearly the bigger need for this team, and I'm understanding of that. I would also say it's why you don't put yourself in that position where you go into the draft having such a significant need at any one spot that, like, that wins out when you have to make a decision like this. So there's a few different layers of it, but in the end, I can't possibly be bothered by the fact that Venga Ioane was the 14th overall pick.
Yeah, I can get the, like, saying I'd prefer Bain and even being, like, slightly disappointed, but, like, I like a huge reaction, like, oh, my God.
Yeah, they're going to regret this forever.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like taking Ty Simpson, like, 13th overall,
yeah,
that type of thing?
That type of thing.
Okay.
I'm not – that's the part that I'm just kind of like, I don't have a problem with this pick at all, even if it was 1A 1B. I just it wasn't so overpowering for me where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. So I just don't think that you can ever go wrong with trying to protect your quarterback.
What about not drafting a center?
I do have a problem with that. Got a problem with that. I was praying, like, please let Jake Slaughter be available, and then the Chargers found their way to him, and I was like, well, there's that, and that's just because of my familiarity.
Well, you're a Florida fan,
with
of course.
Slaughter, because he's a Florida fan. He played for Florida. I'm a fan, and I know how good he is, and I would have just loved to have seen that. And then I was just kind of like, yeah. So the Ravens obviously do this, BPA, best player available, mentality, and so I guess when they don't like to, like, reach up for anybody. They don't like to trade up often, even though you had the second most picks in the draft. I'm very confused why you just didn't do that, but here we are. So they like the things that fall to them, and that's just who they are. They've always been this way, and I get it, but also it's disappointing because that is a pressing need. Now, of course, they've gotten undrafted free agents. They got the center from
Penn State. Nick Dawkins,
would obviously played next to Ioane. So, you'll see. But at the end of the day, it is very disappointing. You would really, I'm sitting here telling you, I'm always going to be on the side of protecting your most prized possession, and then you don't have the guy right in front of him. He's getting the snaps from. You're not sure. Anyway.
I can't hide from that either. Like, that is perplexing to me. Is there something? Do they know of someone that's going to be released?
Possibly. Very possible.
Griffin and I were trying to go through the list earlier today of, like,
potential casualties, like June casualties.
I don't know, man. Like, nobody's cutting their starting. Like, it's just not.
Well, that's
like,
happened already. The ones
the
ones that were surprise cuts have already been cut.
Like, you got to, if it's about clearing, you got to do that, like, pretty quickly. You don't go. I'm really perplexed. I am very perplexed by the Ravens sitting here on April 27th, and their center options are Danny Pinter and Corey Bullock.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that is
don't love it.
incredibly perplexing to me for a team that seemed like they knew they needed to fix the interior of their offensive line.
Got the greatest value of all time on Nick Dawkins, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? Like, who knows? Maybe we'll look back years from now and say, boy, that was a hell of a stealthy undrafted free agent. But for that to be the plan would be batshit. I mean, would be pure batshittery if that's their plan. Like, we liked him so much that every time we had the opportunity to draft him, we didn't do it.
Crazy.
But we really think that he could be our starting center.
And no one else did either, by the way.
Right, which, again, doesn't mean he couldn't be. None of us can see the
you
future.
Can
We don't
yourself
know.
and
Right.
You can
like,
develop a player, but that's all to be determined,
and,
right?
and to be fair, the guy that we all think it kind of defaults to right now is a guy that was undrafted just 2 years ago. So, like, it absolutely could end up being that Nick Dawkins proves one day to be the Ravens center for some time. At the moment, I think it's Corey Bullock's job, unless there's something that
something shakes that we don't know about. Yeah.
Or it's a genuine competition between he and Pinter and Dawkins going into camp, and they're saying, look, man, whoever it is, they win. That's the way it's going to go. And one of the things that Griffin and I talked about this morning, Reeta, is that, like, so much of the things that we think about the Ravens are based in the way that John Harbaugh did business, and who we think he would have leaned to in certain situations. Like, we always believe he's going to lean to a veteran. We always believe, like, I don't know. It might be that Jesse Minter, the way that he operates, is like, no, what we're really going to do is put these three guys through a genuine competition in camp, and if we get to the end of it and we feel like Nick Dawkins is the guy who's most ready to be our center, we'll let him be our center. I would be stunned if they don't find a way to bring somebody in, but
I don't love that idea.
Like, they already did that. They brought in Pinter. Like, they brought in a
We
veteran.
know, but still.
It is just wild to me that
I
this is
agree.
not something that they have prioritized.
I
It
agree.
is wild to me. They waited until day 3 to go tight end. Did that surprise you? Does that concern you at all?
No, I mean, look how many tight ends they've gotten, 4th round and, whatever.
But not typically guys that were immediate contributors. I think that's the dip. Like, I think these guys might be football players, but right now, like,
Do they need an immediate?
No, I think
contributor,
that
right?
I
Like,
think
is
Njoku is still potentially on the table. I mean, people.
Wow.
I mean,
I think drafting 2 tight ends makes it really difficult to also add in. Like,
we don't know if those guys are even NFL caliber players. You don't know.
I agree with you, but it's so, again, I understand that I'm basing a lot of this on the way that John Harbaugh did business.
Right.
I understand that.
I mean,
but
not all 11 of these guys are gonna.
I know not all
that's
11
my,
of
and
them
that's
are.
my point,
Yeah.
right? My point is that somebody might not make the team, right? So I get it. I mean, we're acting like Mark Andrews doesn't exist. We're acting like, Smythe is not on the team. So, they don't necessarily have to be ready right now. But also, Glenn, you and I were very high on Isaiah Likely when he came and he became a rookie.
Yep.
We liked him very early on. And so somebody could find their way to say, let me stand out in camp and be that guy that you and I say, that guy
I guess
actually wasn't bad.
the way that I'm thinking about it, Rita, is more along the lines of, like, what happens if Mark Andrews gets hurt
I get that.
in
And
June?
which
right?
is why I don't
Like,
think the Njoku thing is off the table just because they drafted 2 tight ends.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting because, like, that's a crowded room all of a sudden.
The Ravens do this thing, and all teams do. This is not a Ravens thing. This is an NFL thing. Oh, I like this guy. He got potential. He not ready yet. Oh, something happened to his pinky toe. I got to put him on injured reserve for the year. He's out.
Yep.
So you stash him away somewhere, and then you wait for next year for the opportunity for him to, get involved into this offense. And then in the meantime, you find, who you have on your roster. So I wouldn't even be surprised if that was a thing. I just think that, you're right in the sense of Mark Andrews, but I also feel like I feel like that they're not out of the tight end market just because they got 2 tight ends.
That's interesting. And you might very well be right about that. It might very well be that they say that's called a good problem to have, and we solve it however we have to solve it when we get there.
And also, too, with the I know that they got wide receivers. I'm aware, right? But if you want to start doing more 2 tight end sets, you probably do need to get another tight end.
Well, I think that the argument that someone can make is that they might have a 4th roster spot available for a tight end because they're not going to be holding a running back this year. Now, the question is, do they feel like they need to hold a 4th running back because they just drafted Randall? And at the moment, they've loved Rasheed Ali in special teams, so I presume that they are holding a roster spot for him So is there a roster spot for 4 running backs and 4 tight ends, right? I don't know. But it is an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought that even though they drafted 2 tight ends, they might still turn around and say, let's sign Njoku anyway, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Yep.
Again, same concept. Like, we're not going to default to anybody just because they're a veteran. Maybe they say, hey, look, we signed Durham Smythe, and I know he was with Declan Doyle, but, if we look through camp and these rookies are ready, then, we'll wish Durham Smythe luck and whatever he wants to do. And if they're not ready, then we won't worry too much about whether or not somebody's going to scoop them off the practice squad. Like, that might be the thought process that they have. We'll see. If they don't do that, I have a little apprehension about the tight ends that they're going to put in the room with Mark Andrews, hopefully. Mark Andrews has a monster season, and none of it matters.
Right.
Anything else that jumped out at you about what the Ravens did and didn't do this weekend?
Love Zion.
He was one of the guys in that tunnel with the Michigan State-Michigan thing. He got charged. He was one of the guys that got charged for like an assault or something.
Really?
Yeah, I just found that out today. Yeah, when Michigan and Michigan State got in that fight in the tunnel in 2023.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a couple years ago.
Yeah. He was one of the Michigan State guys that got into it with the Wolverines, which I kind of
took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor aggravated assault,
which I kind of.
I mean, it was wild. It was definitely wild.
It was wild.
Which I kind of want for my D lineman. I don't know.
I mean, I don't want him to go to jail though.
No. Well, he took a plea.
We don't want him to go to jail, but I like him. I do watch SEC games, so I have the opportunity to see some guy. I like his motor. I like him. So I was, I didn't feel so bad about the Reuben Baines situation because I really like Zion, and I was just like, okay, cool. And then I really feel like every time I hear him speak, I'm like, they absolutely
he's kind of nuts, man.
Dog.
Like, he is kind of nuts.
Look, shout out to Trippy. Trippy hit me up and was like, you need to tell Glenn and press box that needs to be the dude to do the shows from moving forward.
All right.
And I was like, you know what? You might not be wrong because I know he's funny. You can just tell he's funny.
He's wild, man. Like, he's
Hey, get
wild.
John on the phone. Get John on the phone.
He is in your face, like,
I love it.
And that, yes, to the point, Griffin. That might be the type of player that you need. Like,
because who else doing it?
Yeah, you might not need the kindest person. You might just need someone who has a damn edge up front, no pun intended.
That's why I also like Reuben Bain a lot. Still, because the way he ran,
he's a psychopath.
The way he ran up to the
they
stage.
They do the Tasmanian devil looking thing going. They got that going
on. The receivers are interesting to me. The Jacoby Lane one, I think, is the one that left people a little bit scratching their head, given who was on the board at the time. That was the way they went. We know that he's really good at
50-50.
contested balls and 50-50 balls, but he does not get a lot of separation.
Yeah, he's a little slow.
Right now, is he here to just sort of be a red zone target? And it's an interesting thought because I come out of the weekend saying the Ravens must believe in Tez Walker. This group must believe because I don't think either of these guys jumps ahead of Tez Walker.
I definitely think Tez Walker is talented. I definitely think that he has not gotten a lot of opportunities. But, Glenn, I will also say I would not still be surprised if they don't get someone else in free agency.
That's possible, too.
So
it is possible,
there's
too.
That part of it.
I still, I don't know. I've heard some things about what they think of him in a fit in Declan Doyle's offense. There's a lot of timing in Declan Doyle's offense, and they like what he can do on timing routes. And so, I don't know. I think that, if we were doing, winners and losers, I think if you're Tez Walker, you feel like a winner right now. Because I don't think that and I like Surratt, obviously.
I do too.
Played at St. Francis, not from here, but we claim him. A lot of the dudes that come here for high school.
I will claim a St. Francis person.
Yeah.
I don't care
And St. Francis is real. That's not like going to Boys Latin.
I was just getting ready to say because you on Chase Street, okay?
Right.
And you're not on the good part of Chase Street where the steakhouse is. You on the other part of the Chase Street. You cross that bridge and it's a little different over there. The sunshine a little different.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna claim anybody that's going over there. I'm claiming y'all. Y'all part of us.
And there is something too when you get around a lot of other Baltimore kids where you kind of pick up the way that the chip that's on their shoulder, and so I'm gonna claim. We always joked with Blake Corum about that. Blake Corum was the same.
Yes,
but where was Blake from originally? I don't know.
Was he from Virginia?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
He was from Virginia. Because Surratt's definitely from Virginia. But like Blake Corum would always joke about that all the time. Like, yo, I felt like I was living in a different world. Like, and it became part of me. Like, it just sort of became part of who I am. When he
Baltimore
was
will
at
do
St.
that
Francis.
to you. The good, bad, the ugly.
Marshall, Virginia, wherever that.
Okay, I don't know off the top of my head. I can't lie.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Baltimore will stick to you like glue, baby.
But I
Fakir County. There you
Okay.
go.
Don't
sure,
even know.
Sure,
yeah,
you got
yeah,
it. You got it, dog.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, right. Griffin, you don't know the counties in Maryland. Why are you pretending like we're gonna know the counties in
It's
Virginia?
one of the northern ones. I think it is one of the northern
okay.
counties. Yeah.
There's 23 counties
If
in
it ain't
Maryland.
Alexandria or Loudon, I don't know. Anything else, I'd be like,
Fairfax County, I know.
Oh yeah, Fairfax. Thank
County.
you. Yes.
And I guess Prince William County is right there too. Like literally the immediate Northern Virginia counties I know. Outside of the immediate Northern Virginia counties, forget it. I got nothing for you.
I don't know.
I like both of them, but I don't think either one of them immediately jumps ahead. And it's possible. I said this earlier today. I think it might be possible they look at Jacoby Lane and say, it's okay if all you are right now
is a red zone
is
target.
a red zone target. Like, we lost Isaiah Likely.
Yep.
We need that. And we don't think that's a poor way to spend a third-round pick. Even if you aren't a complete receiver yet, if you can help us right now in the red zone and with 50-50 balls, we'll deal with that and hopefully continue to have you develop to year 2, maybe year 3, being more of a complete receiver as needed.
Yep.
I also don't think anything that they did would make you think that they are not intending to sign Zay Flowers. We, of course, know that they picked up the 5th-year option. Nothing that happened during the course of the draft would make you think that they're not going to.
100% agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Just 2 seconds on Diego Pavia.
No, we don't need to.
There we go. There we go.
Bye, Lamar.
Can't body.
Oh.
Rookie can't body. Let's move along.
There we go. There you go. We can move on. You can go ahead and hit the next thing, Griffin.
I mean, we don't really have
Oh,
to
we
do
got a
it.
punter. We got, what's his name?
Eckley.
Ryan
Yep.
Ryan Eckley.
Ryan
Ryan
Eckley.
Eckley.
Cool.
That's their punter
Rex.
now moving forward.
Call him Rex.
Please don't take as long as Jordan Stout did in order to be good at punting.
I know, right?
Please move that process along a little bit quicker.
Call
and,
Sam Cooke if you got to.
And much like I said, well, Sam Cooke worked
Is he in
with
the
Jordan
building?
Stout
No.
originally. No, he left. He's no longer with the team.
Yeah, but I'm talking about call him in the offseason.
Oh, and just let him punt. You're saying let him be the punter.
No.
I'm
saying
you're
call
to work with him.
Sam Cooke
Okay.
tomorrow to yesterday and say, help me.
I'm going to say the same thing I say about Tyler Loop. I am not concerned about whether or not Ryan Eckley develops. That is not my concern. If early on this season he's not a good punter, go get a punter. Go get a punter.
We got Luke
Stop.
Elzinga?
Yeah, Bazinga, right.
Yeah.
Stop prioritizing the development of your draft picks that are specialists over having the best one you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That is your priority. It ain't my priority. Tyler Loop might be a good kicker. I have no idea. But he isn't a good kicker right now, and it hurt you. This guy might prove to be a good punter, but if in week 4 he's not a good punter, then he gets to figure out if he can be a good punter somewhere else. Go get the best punter that you can possibly have. Stop the bullishness about, well, Randy Brown said that we sent him all over the country, and this was the guy he was in love with. God bless Randy Brown. That's nice of him that he thinks that guy's going to be great. You need the guy that's going to be great immediately because you're trying to win. Spare me the development. Get the guy that can help you immediately. That's my thought. You want to hit the button?
Sure.
Very good.
Strike a pose.
That's what it sounds like. It absolutely. Come on. It's definitely Vogue, isn't it?
Yeah. Why not?
What is it?
Yeah.
Vogue. Vogue.
I said pick an electronic music song.
Is it not electric enough?
I mean, what the hell? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I just watched Devil Wears Prada for the first time.
Oh, the original. I'm going Thursday to see the new one. Can't wait.
Ooh. I have never seen The Devil. You'll be stunned to learn that I've never seen The Devil
I just
Wears
watched the
Prada.
first
Grow
one.
up. Even Griffin has seen it. Grow up.
He just saw it yesterday.
Okay, but he's 20-something years old. You in
Yeah,
your
exactly.
40s. You're an old man.
This was not my piece of culture, bro. This was not my. I'm sure it's
It was a
wonderful.
good movie. It was a fun movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't imagine what the second one's going to be about. I mean, I guess
I don't
they're just
know.
going to do
We'll
it
find
again.
out. I gotta assume that
Everyone's coming back, right?
Yeah, I gotta assume she's a
All
big.
right,
she's a big wig now.
I
Be
guess.
careful because
she was
Madonna
actually doing
Madonna
journalism.
might be the type of person that kicks us off of Twitter. I don't know. I have no idea. Tribe Called Quest doesn't, but I never know who might.
You're right. You're right.
All right, a lot of Twitter stuff from the week. Where do we want to start? Why don't we start with this was very funny. Jason Benetti, who does everything now. He does baseball. He does college sports. He's become one of the best play-by-play voices in all of sports in recent years. He is the Tigers' lead play-by-play guy, and they were in a rain delay the other day, and you just get to the point where, like, we have nothing to talk about. We've done everything.
Yes.
And instead of throwing it to Tom Davis or throwing it to here's an Orioles classic from a game that they won 3-2 here is Brad Bergeson's first career win, which is what the Orioles would sometimes do during rain delays. For some reason, they just started doing impressions. And it turns out Jason Benetti's really good. Did you have this moved up to the ESPN one? All right. Caleb, your job is safe, pal.
Yep.
He did a bunch of other ones.
I know. Well, they were all good.
Nah, some of them are too random. They're just too random. I don't know who he's doing.
Let me just start right in the middle.
Yeah, we'll see where he's at. All right, let's see.
It's just
go back a little bit. Go back a little bit. Just a little bit. All right? Yeah. Hit it.
Emily Kaplan downstairs.
That was Sean McDonough. Hey, Sean McDonough was all right. It is. It's not bad.
Too good.
It is good.
It really is good.
But this one.
I'm proud of you.
Brought to you by Bet365. Sports Center. I may or may not have convinced Gordon.
He sounds exactly like the guy that did the sports. He sounds
We were doing a White Sox game, and it was like 20 minutes before air. It was in 2021. We were at a studio.
Hang on. No, because he did it. It's a good story.
COVID. I was like, White Sox baseball brought to you by
Oh my God, he sounds like
Bet365, and he was like, whoa, really? And like
creepy.
The producer helped. Andrew actually might have been there for that day. Blaustein, our director, he might have helped too. He was. Andrew just said I was. They were like egging him on, like, Gordon, no, it's actually him. Like, he just does it over his computer. And he was like, do more. And I was like, college game day.
Dude, it sounds
the Home Depot.
Oh my God.
dead on, man.
And he was like,
God.
dude, that's you.
Dead on.
That is him.
Dead on. Jason Benetti could absolutely be the voice of
100%.
ESPN.
He did that.
100%. Nailed that one.
Nailed it.
I'll stay in baseball for this one. Sandy Alcantara was telling a story about his first career strikeout and what happened to the ball from his first career strikeout as he was being interviewed. He struck out someone pretty prominent, and as you would expect, he wanted to keep the ball from this moment.
You still have the ball. Did it get scuffed up?
No, I don't have it because we can't find it. He lost it on the street, yeah.
He lost it in the street?
Yeah, he took it from the box to playing catch on the street,
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
This story has taken an awful turn, Sandy. This is unbelievable.
I was close to fucking hit him on the face.
Was it his brother? I can't. Yeah, it was his brother.
I skipped that one. I did skip it.
Yeah. Right. We'll get it the next time. The third time's the charm. His brother. So he struck out Buster Posey, and his brother, like, he just had the ball in his house. His brother just takes the ball out to, like, play catch with it one day. Sort of like this, the Sandlot and the Babe Ruth ball. Like, he just takes it. Like, it's just some other baseball, right?
Somebody,
like,
baby.
some lady.
Like,
some
who is this baby guy?
Right?
Big
Yeah,
guy?
exactly right. So he takes,
Oh my God.
his brother takes the ball out, and Sandy Alcantara is just like, I'm going to murder you.
I just can't.
I'm going to effing punch you in the face.
You got to die.
And I think everybody involved was like, we're not even mad about you using the F word, bro, because
we understand.
We completely get it.
Yep.
We completely get it. Somebody was being horny on television recently. Somebody was being a little horny on TV. This was from First Take. And they were talking about Victor Wembanyama, who, of course, as we know, is French. And so
Rudy Gobert too. I think there was it
Gobert? Rudy Gobert as well,
Rudy
yeah.
Gobert is, yeah.
And so it led to Chine Ogumike.
So yeah, Chine Ogumike.
It's Chine, right?
Yeah.
Ogumike. No, it's Ogumike, isn't it? Ogumike. Yeah. Led to her pulling out a little bit of French, and then somebody could not hide how horny they were.
Bonjour, Stephen A. Je m'appelle Chine. Et Rudy Gobert, il est magnifique. Il est magnifique. He has been phenomenal. Rudy Gobert's defense, he's been magnificent. I hope I did
we got that part. But then she breaks down basketball for a little while, as she is, of course, quite the authority as a hell of a player.
I have to. I got to get a little personal here first for a second here, Shay and Chanae. I mean, listen. I'm living a good life. I'm pretty damn happy, to say the least. But I must admit, in all my years on this earth, I've never dated a woman from France or anything like that. But after hearing Chanae, I was like, what have I been missing? What have I been missing? I mean, that language, that verbiage right there, that kind of.
Just a little horny.
Anyway,
Just a little horny on the
get back
internet.
to the focus at
Just a
hand.
little horny.
Like
Brother.
how he gets to get away with like everything. You know what I mean? And I get he thinks it's funny.
She only talked for another 90 seconds about basketball.
And he had to go back to it. He needed.
Right, that's my point. Like she clearly
needed,
moved on. He didn't even like say it right after she said it.
Yep.
And he still went back to it turns me on. Like it's so weird.
Just had to let the world know how horny he was. That's what was going on there.
Enough.
Speaking of ESPN, they were, of course, covering the draft on Friday night. Denzel Boston, the wide receiver out of Washington, slipped into round 2, was the second receiver picked by the Cleveland Browns during the course of the draft. And you learned something really interesting from Mike Greenberg about Denzel Boston that, admittedly, I was not aware of.
Cleveland Browns, with the 39th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington. Here we go, Browns.
So there you are, Mel. That's another player whose name you were waiting to hear called. You remember his dad, David Boston, first-round pick out of Ohio State.
Oh, right. David Boston went to the Cardinals, and the funny thing about that is they're not remotely related. Not in any way whatsoever.
Hey, I kept saying, I think I remember what David Boston looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's him.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
That's not David
It's
Boston.
not him.
I
It's
was like,
definitely
wasn't he
not
light-skinned?
him.
Wasn't David
Because
Boston-
I believe you are
wasn't
correct.
David Boston
Hang on a second.
light-skinned?
He was light-skinned. You are correct about
Did
that.
he have like light eyes or something too?
100%. He did.
See?
He did.
I was like, yo, I swear to God, I was like, maybe I'm going through the change, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I thought my brain had failed me.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, well, maybe my mind, that's my brain again failing me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe he was dark skinned this whole time, and I had it wrong. I'm the problem.
Now,
Clearly, I was not the problem.
If I'm being fair to Mike Greenberg, I have no doubt that because there's 300 players that are going in this draft. You cannot possibly study all of them. And so undoubtedly
Then why is he on TV?
He was handed a note card about the player and just read it off there. Now, how whoever was in charge of research for Denzel Boston just pulled it out of thin air that he was – this sounds like the type of joke that, like, you and your buddies make. Like, oh, yeah, Denzel Boston. Well, he's David Boston's son, right? Like, and then somehow someone heard it and was just like, oh, that must have been a fact. And so they put it on the card, gave it to Mike Greenberg, and Mike Greenberg's like, yes, of course. We all remember. I'm sure you all. I remember that his father is David Boston, the former Arizona Cardinals wide receiver. This one is more visual, but however you feel about Kirk Herbstreit, I have to give him credit for this because he handled this the only appropriate way. There might be wonderful things. It seemed like everybody in Pittsburgh was having a wonderful time this weekend. It's not necessarily they have here's what I'll tell you. They've got an effing beautiful baseball stadium. Their baseball stadium is wonderful. The rest of Pittsburgh is kind of a meh to me. They got some bridges. They got a dumbass incline. Like, there's just not a whole lot.
The trolley thing. Or
there's
people was pumping up. I'm sorry, y'all was pumping up Pittsburgh. I was just kind of like,
they had a million people come through, you know.
God bless them.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you also realize
what
there
else
was a
is
big
there to
event
do?
going on that weekend. How about just go
Yeah.
like on a regular football Sunday? I promise you, what you think is gonna be a little bit different. They close at 11 o'clock or maybe 10:30 on Sundays. I don't know.
That's for real.
I mean, seriously.
That is for real. Like, I've definitely
Everything.
the bars all roll
All
up.
the
Like,
bars.
there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing
So,
happening.
okay, yes, stuff was open because it was NFL draft. Right. Like, come on, y'all.
What I know is whatever nice things you have to say about Pittsburgh, there is one thing that I will stand by to my death is not an accomplishment whatsoever. It is these effing stacker sandwiches. All it is, you have accomplished nothing from a culinary perspective. You've just put some mid-French fries on a sandwich.
And coleslaw.
After you have it for the first time, you say to yourself, okay, I've had it. I never need to have it again. Ever. It is not a culinary accomplishment. And spare me the Pittsburgh people who are like, yeah, well, what about pierogies? The pierogies in Pittsburgh don't take any different than the pierogies anywhere else. And you know what happens when you have pierogies? You say, they're fine. Like, they're fine. Y'all just eat a lot of them there. Good. It's fine. Like, you got ketchup and bridges. Like, that's what you have. It's cool, and your team's won Super Bowls. Like, nobody can take that away from you. But pretending like these things are adding anything to society is bullshit. There is nothing interesting about French fries on a sandwich.
Nothing.
It is not.
If that's your culture, I don't want it.
This
I'm
better be the
sorry.
rant that Herbstreit does.
Oh, it's not the. He just watch the way he handles it when they're told you have to.
Like, eat it?
Yeah, they bring him out because they partnered.
Oh, yeah. What he's
And
gonna
so
have
they
to
do
learn
this
to
whole
enjoy
production about the
is
effing
famed Primanti Brothers
Yeah.
sandwich. This is a staple in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
You put
yeah,
the fries
a
right
staple.
on the sandwich here. Okay.
What a crap. Whoa! Really blowing your mind, man. We put the French fries on the sandwich.
What we got here?
Boom.
Worth it.
So now they're all Reese Davis is told you better dig into that.
It's complete
You
without
better
going to
dig
Primanti
in.
Brothers. Come on,
It's the
Kirk.
ABC broadcast.
Come on now.
Watch Kirk Herbstreit.
How many more picks?
Nope.
All
right, we
Nope.
flying, bro. Yeah. These are delicious.
Watch what he does.
How are those fries?
Watch it.
Oh,
holy
those are like Primanti.
Yeah, he's gonna grab it. He's gonna enjoy it.
This is some
He's
sort
gonna
of
have a
dessert.
bite,
These
huh?
ain't fries.
Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
The workers in the
Nope.
mill would come in,
Get
He say he on a diet.
No, thank
and
you.
he didn't even try to like wait till the camera panned away
Nope.
from him. He was just like, nah,
I'm good, dog. I'm good on your stupid French fry sandwiches.
I'm good.
On that.
I'm good.
And then finally, we all know who won the draft this weekend. It was, of course.
Well, I'm not ready.
Oh my God.
I was gonna.
We've
'cause
been
Darius-
here
Darius
all
Butler-
day.
Darius Butler did the same thing.
Not. It's fine.
Where
It's
he
fine.
also
We're-
said he said guys, what the f is going on with this sandwich?
And you know what? Correct. It's offering nothing.
Nothing.
Now, we know who won the draft this weekend. It was the family Ingram. They were the victors of the draft.
That's correct.
God bless you, brother. Big trust indeed.
That's correct.
This the hospitality y'all got for your boy?
Oh, boy.
This the hospitality y'all got for your boy?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yes, it
Because on
is.
behalf of me, my son, these wonderful young ladies, and all the Flock Nation, we got a special message for y'all, Pittsburgh.
Steelers still suck!
No, boy.
And we about that. You got a problem with that? Come see me. Big trust. Flock Nation in the flesh.
Mark Ingram was in Baltimore for a little
2
more
years.
than a sneeze.
2 years, and he has
slightly more.
My favorite thing is like when guys come here and it's like they're not Ravens like based on draft, but they're Ravens based on personality, and then they just take it all in like Bolden. Anquan Bolden is one.
Anquan Bolden was supposed to be a Raven.
Anquan Bolden retired. Like he is in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, religiously. Well, he's not in the Ring of Honor, but he did retire as a Raven. He did like.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
He came back,
I
even
apologize.
though
He retired as a
they
Raven.
ran him out after he
Well,
won them a Super Bowl.
He will be in the Ring of Honor.
They
Let's say
ran
that.
him the F out of town, and he still
But he
came back
retired a Raven.
and retired as a Raven.
Yep, sure
because
did.
spiritually, he was a Raven.
He knew it from day one.
Spiritually, that's what he was supposed to be.
So yes, I apologize. I
It's
meant to say he retired as a Raven, but my brain
pull
said
up the
something
one because we remember that he forgot. But pull up the one I just sent you on Twitter because I forgot about that one. So Mark Ingram and his son came out and did it again the next time. They did it in both the second round and the third round. Wore him out. But they kept announcing picks throughout the course of the draft and having different people. I don't even know who this person
I
is.
loved her. I loved her.
I don't know.
I love her.
But God love her. She also understood
love
the
her.
assignment.
I
Like
really
she
do.
came prepared for what it is that she was being
Love
asked
this
to
lady.
do and nailed it.
Fan of the year, international fan of the year.
Sure.
See what the jersey says.
Pittsburgh, I'll keep this short like your postseason.
My favorite thing.
Well damn done. Well damn done. All right, there you go. That's as seen on Twitter. We'll do this next segment briefly. You don't have to worry about the music for it. What else from the draft? Oh wait, what is it? Vogue? Is it another Madonna song?
We don't have time for that. Glenn
We
got
don't
things to do.
Yeah, right. I got places to be. Oh, we do like this song. Don't get me
really
wrong. Love this song. I'm never gonna complain about that. So I ask, What else from this weekend jumped out most to you, Reeta?
In terms of the AFC North, specifically.
We can start with the AFC North if you'd like. I
thought Cleveland did well.
I can't lie about that. All of their first 4 picks, you're like,
they nailed it.
damn, dude.
Nailed it.
Now, they don't have a quarterback, so.
Well, I think that they're still going to they're potentially gearing up for next year.
Which is kind of how I feel the Jets as well, where it's
I
like
thought the Jets actually
had a good draft, but they
did
don't.
decent.
Who's throwing the quarter? No one's.
I think both teams
Cade
had the same
Klubnik
philosophy.
might be their quarterback.
I like
Legitimately.
Cade.
And what's funny is, like, Cade had a down year at Clemson, but prior to that, people were like him, Nussmeier, people were really high on those types of guys going into 2025, and then that it just didn't materialize.
Speaking of guys people were high on going into 2025 and staying in the division, what did you think about the Steelers going for Drew Aller?
Look, people like Drew Aller from a prototype perspective.
Can you pass Griffin more
yes,
Cheez-Its?
From just the
This is how we're paying him. We're paying him in Cheez-Its.
We're paying him in Cheez-Its. Just from the physical stature, he looks like an NFL quarterback. I don't see enough from Drew Aller for me at the moment to feel like he's that guy, but it doesn't mean that he can't be developed. Aller was another guy that people were really high on.
He has a big arm. He absolutely has a big arm, but it's all of the other throws that I'm like.
I'm not sold as of
yet.
yet.
If the quarterback position was throw the ball straight line 50 yards downfield, I'd want Drew Aller to be my quarterback.
I mean, I think that he's better than like Will Howard in that regard, right? Will Howard was at Ohio State, but. I mean, they had to do what they had to do, but I don't love it.
The situation.
I think that they're still prepared for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think drafting Drew Aller is offensive, although I just think that you could be using that pick on somebody that is probably going to be more helpful than I think Drew Aller is going to be. Right.
In the short term as opposed to now.
I don't think that I don't think Drew Aller is your quarterback of the future. Even if you think.
He might be.
Even if you're confident that Aaron Rodgers is the guy. I think part of this is like if he had a really like incredible offensive staff to go work with, like if he was going to work with Ben Johnson in Chicago, I might find myself saying like,
you don't like Mike McCarthy?
No.
Mike McCarthy, I mean.
I don't.
It doesn't make any sense to hire.
It just makes
they
none of it.
They should have hired Jesse Minter. I mean, like that's that type of hire. That's what I mean, right? Like, like they should have hired that type of person.
Let the
Steelers,
let the Steelers make
mediocrity,
right.
Friend.
Let them do whatever they want to do. My God.
Well, I'm just I agree. Yeah, nothing they're doing makes any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Except for drafting Eli Hyder.
Well, Mike McCarthy is from Pittsburgh. I don't know what you guys talking about.
Right. That's why it makes all the sense in the world. You had to hire the guy who's from Pittsburgh. It's why the Ravens, of course, hired Jim Schwartz.
Yes, very true.
We all know that. Yeah. We all know that's the reason why they did it. I don't know if you heard. He's from
Thought it was
Baltimore.
a pretty cool moment of them drafting the Navy running back.
Eli
He was from
Pittsburgh,
so it was cool to see him, being emotional.
It was a wonderful moment. Like
I really enjoyed it.
For the 7th round of the NFL draft, like it's so rare that you get anything that's particularly good television. That
Correct.
was obviously
that was a good
very,
moment.
very good television.
Yeah.
I know that the Jeremiah Love thing was very
because the Cardinals don't have an offensive line. They don't have anything.
They don't have much of anything, right?
That's why I said anything. You know what I mean? But also,
but part of that is why, okay, so draft. if you think he's
Love, right?
You are not one player away from competing. So if you just genuinely believe that Jeremiah Love is the best player, and a lot of people would tell you he is the best NFL prospect that was in this draft, right? And so it's hard for me to knock it. Now, look, it's the Cardinals, so if they did it, I assume it was wrong, right? Like, whatever they did, I'm just going to assume was wrong. But they did draft Larry Fitzgerald once upon a time. Like, they did figure that out. I don't know. They did draft Anquan Bolden. That's a fact. Not even in the first round either.
Yep.
So
last time they had a quarterback named Carson,
it was okay.
That guy belonged to somebody else. They didn't draft that guy.
It's
they
weird.
had a guy named Kirk too.
You know,
that
it's
guy
weird
belonged
too.
to somebody
Like there
else.
are some scouts that will tell you that you guys don't realize how good Carson Beck is, and I'm like, okay,
he might be good, but he just doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't have the temperament of a starting.
I've seen. Look, as a person that watched SEC games, I've seen Carson Beck enough. Carson Beck got a little bit of a thinking problem sometimes when he's under duress. And he will do something.
We saw it at the end of the national championship
game. 100% agree.
And that was
he
his
turned it over 5 times against Louisville. In that
literally,
one?
And I watched that game. I literally that was his thing at Georgia. Like Georgia was set up so well, right? And Miami did the same thing because if you look, Miami had guys that went off the board too and went to the draft in the first round even. But he really needs all the things in front of him to work for it to work. Outside of that, it's not gonna work.
I guess the question is, can you coach the horrible decisions out of someone? And if you can, it's hard pressed for me to believe the Cardinals are going to be the organization that can do it.
Matt LaFleur, yeah.
But yeah, right.
He'll be the guy.
Can you
Is it Matt?
coach
Yeah,
the horrible decisions out of
I can't keep up.
someone and just stick with like he can make the throws? Carson Beck, I don't think I realized was 6'4". Like Carson Beck is
really
bigger
tall.
than you
Yeah,
realize.
that's why I think he probably can have a really good career as a backup quarterback, just because he does have the
looks the
physical
part,
talent.
right,
Yeah, like he
yeah.
has the physical gifts, and he seems to be a smart guy. He just can't put that always,
makes dumb.
Yeah,
dumb
I just think if you kind of if you
decisions.
force his hand, he's gonna give you something.
Yeah, if you rattle him, right.
Yeah.
If you rattle him, he's going to do that. Anything else? Obviously the Ty Simpson thing got all the attention on Thursday night.
The Giants had a good draft.
I thought the
I
Giants
liked all
had a
the players
decent
they
draft, and I
drafted.
think that, listen, Thibodeau, your days is numbered. You already know it. Apparently, he posted on his Instagram story by.
But now, are you selling them on pennies on the dollar? Can you get, teams know that
Well, that's the problem.
you're trying
right?
to move him?
But you'll see. We'll see. So, I mean, there's that part of it. But I agree. I thought that the Giants had a pretty decent draft as well. So,
Which I guess isn't hard to
I
do
just
when you
really-
have 2 top 10 picks.
I
but,
agree with
yeah,
that.
But it feels like they nailed both, right?
yeah, a lot of people.
Reese fell to him.
Well, people are saying, what is the point? You didn't necessarily need Reese. Well, again, if you're a team that does best play available, you'll figure it out. I will figure it out later. And if that means that this guy that's been since we drafted him gotta go, then he gotta go.
And if you want to defend John Harbaugh, John Harbaugh didn't draft Kayvon Thibodeau.
I wouldn't be right. Well, yes,
Right.
I agree. with
he
that.
has no ties to say
has
we
zero
got to
ties.
make this work with this dude because you spent a high draft capital on him. That's not his problem.
I agree.
His problem is I want to have the best football players, and if you spend high draft capital on that guy, that ain't my issue.
Yep.
He just might not be my guy. The Simpson thing, I get. Sean McVay is trying to do this revisionist. Well, I just didn't want Matt Stafford to be bothered by my excitement about Ty Simpson. Brother, if you were drafting Ty Simpson, you needed to be on the phone with Matt Stafford 20 minutes earlier than that and saying, hey, man, just making sure you're still.
Apparently, they told him earlier that day.
So then nothing about the way that Sean McVay responded
made
his
sense.
defense of I don't
or
want.
maybe they thought that they would trade down and get him because getting him at 13 is high.
It is nuts.
It
man.
is very high. You could have potentially got, but this draft, and I think we talked about this maybe on the on our preview.
Yeah.
I wasn't there's guys that potentially will end up to be rock stars, but there's not a lot of rock stars that came out
I
of
don't
this
necessarily
draft.
disagree with
So
that.
nobody's really going up and trading him unless
I've
you
gotta have the 13th
Lemon-
pick, right?
Oh, that was
yeah,
my favorite part.
That was
my
great.
favorite.
That
Shout
was
out to
great.
the Eagles.
Yeah, right. That was great. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I still think that if you're the Rams and you are this close a year ago, you cannot think that you don't need to spend that 13th pick on a player that can help you right now.
1,000%.
And maybe we'll look back in 20 years. This is the Jordan Love. Jordan Love
it's identical.
looks like a good quarterback, but was it
Jordan
worth?
Love was it was at the end of the round though.
Was it? But was it? But
He
I still
wasn't
say,
13.
was it
He
worth?
was like 30.
You had
Wasn't it
Aaron
21,
Rodgers.
26 maybe?
You had
I know he wasn't no 13. That's what I know.
no. He was the back end of the first round. You're absolutely back. He was literally one of the last couple picks of the
Oh, he
first
was?
round. Yeah. You had Aaron Rodgers in his prime, and that
26.
was how you chose to use.
What was he, 26?
Yeah, that's how you chose to use a first round pick. And even if Jordan Love looks like a good quarterback now, and he does, is he that much better than who you might have been drafting if you had waited 2 to 3 years to draft your quarterback?
I mean, the Packers is kind of I don't really like that example because they did the same thing with Aaron Rodgers, right? When they had Brett Favre there, they did the same thing. So that's just what they do. They have always been a franchise that is best player available, no matter under no circumstances. I think and look, for them it has worked out, right? In the sense of from a quarterback perspective, they didn't have a huge drop off.
No, they never had a serious dip, right?
When they finally parted ways with Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think that.
But Aaron
look,
Rodgers was also arguably the most talented of that generation of quarterbacks,
100%.
and yet you won 1 Super Bowl with him.
I completely agree. And so, look, Sean McVay, we know what he's able to do from an offensive coaching perspective. And again, I don't know if he wanted to get him at 13, but I'm sure that he felt like I'm going to coach this kid up, and he's we're going to have a smooth transition from whenever Matt Stafford decides that he doesn't want to play anymore to, Ty Simpson, and that we're good enough. Because, see, here's the thing, too, Glenn. They don't be having first-round draft. They don't forgot what it's like to have first-round draft picks. So I'm not surprised that pick was a little stupid.
And
they're not used to being in that situation.
They're actually desperately trying to trade it. They were like, please, somebody.
Come get it. And nobody bit. And they was like, oh, all right.
They had already traded one for Trent McDuffie. Like, they're doing everything in their power to try to, like, who will take this?
Right.
And they couldn't get it.
Dallas had a good draft, too.
I mean, I love Caleb Downs. I love Caleb Downs. That's
kind of hard to beat that.
No
they
doubt
went
about
almost
it.
primarily defense, and that was obviously their defense sucked last year. So
Makes sense. All right, let's do this. It's time.
Oh, you didn't crack this time.
For America's fastest growing game show, Spin the Wheel! Hit it, Griffin. Wow, the wheel sounds different this week.
That wheel fast as hell.
That's weird.
Someone give it a good spin.
That's really different. That's why.
Okay, all right, here we go. It cost Texas Tech $5 million to land quarterback Brendan Sorsby in the transfer portal coming over from Cincinnati. But it turns out he may have needed all of that money, as he announced today that he is entering rehab for a gambling addiction. Sorsby reportedly bet on Indiana games when he was with the team in 2022. He didn't bet on any game he played in, but he did always bet on Indiana to win when he did. He is at risk of losing a year of eligibility and could enter the NFL supplemental draft.
It's sad. It's unfortunate because this is going to be a regular thing. All of these leagues, all of these networks, they all push the gambling agenda. And of course, I'm not absolving the gamblers. I'm just saying that gambling sites and codes and all this stuff is everywhere. And so it's going to become more problematic. We're going to have to see how these leagues enforce gambling. I don't know how, but you're going to have to figure it out.
Well, they have to stay. The leagues don't have a choice in terms of athletes gambling. They have no choice. You cannot create a scenario where anyone can question.
It's just so hypocritical.
I disagree with that.
I know how you feel about it. I know how you feel about it, and me and you don't agree on that regard. I just don't. I'm sorry. You can't take you're taking money from a company and say, hey, but don't mess with that company.
Yep.
Like every other sponsor they have.
Well, they're actually not even saying that, and that's why they're not saying you're allowed to bet.
Right.
You can bet,
which is even worse.
You can bet on whatever you want to bet on, just not the sport you're playing. That's it.
That's not how.
Play your basket. No,
that's not how gambling addiction works.
That's the problem.
Well, okay, but you're not helping.
But why are you not helping?
I just told you why. I literally started why.
They're letting them go to rehab. They're helping them with the gambling addiction.
And I'm saying that this is going to be a regular occurrence from here on out. We're going to hear about this way more often. More kids are going to start going to gambling addiction. They're going to start.
By the way, I hope they do.
It just is what it is.
I hope they do. I hope
they don't gamble because it's a horrible thing to get caught up in.
I don't disagree with that.
But look, you got vices everywhere. Hey, this was a game. This tells you to gamble. This guy, the people on ESPN that reported it probably had an ESPN bet on the lower third. Like, it's crazy.
They probably did. If you want to play a sport, you can't bet on the sport. It's just not hard.
I'm not suggesting that they do.
You know what I'll compare it to? You know what I compare it to? We all understand why it is the governor said if you work in the state and you have access to classified information, you can't go to the prediction market and use it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
We understand.
We all agree with that. I'm just making the point that all these companies make it harder for these people to not. Once people get into the gambling, it's all bets off. That's the problem. There's no control. People lose control of themselves.
But I never am going to blame. That's on you. You have to be able to gain control of it.
We have to hold these companies responsible. I'm sorry. In terms of how, I don't know. I'm just simply saying I'm calling them out and saying they're no help in these situations either. That's where I stand.
I mean, I think if you want to have a conversation like the cigarette conversation about like the way that what kind of advertising should be allowed to be done.
That's what I'm talking
like,
about.
We can
like,
have
that's part of the problem.
What I'm never going to do is blame the NFL for a football player choosing to bet on football.
They literally have a freaking gambling place in stadiums. It's insane to me. Insane.
I'm not going to blame them for that. Like, that's on you. Now, again, I will have a deeper conversation. I'll have a totally deeper conversation about, like, are we targeting kids? Do we need to talk about the way that the ads look? The same way that we did. We got rid of Joe Camel, right? Like, I understood we shouldn't have a cartoon, targeting young people to try to get them to smoke. Like, we figured that out. And are we targeting kids to gamble, and are we building gamblers at 14 years old that don't understand the consequences of their action? Do we need to look at the type of advertising that's done and say, you can't do it this way? I'll absolutely openly have that conversation about it, but I will never. Your actions are on you.
He's a college kid.
You are responsible for your own actions.
He's not a grown-up. Like, he's still a kid to me.
If he was drinking and driving, would we send him to juvie, or would we charge him as an adult?
I'm charging him as an
because
adult.
We know
you
have to be capable of making your decisions.
And yes, I don't disagree with that. I'm simply saying I'm not absolving these companies just because this person did this, because they push it. To me, they push us. They push us, literally.
But do we say the same thing about alcohol?
Yes,
So
I said the same thing.
This is a genuine question.
And the alcohol sponsors are everywhere, and that's problematic.
So should we get rid of that too? Should there be no alcohol advertising?
I would like it.
It's interesting.
Personally, if you asking me, I know it's never gonna happen, but I would. Sure, yup.
Look, this is where I am a free market person. Like you're responsible. You are responsible for your actions.
And I agree with that.
That's it.
I agree with that, but we're not gonna act like that. We're not. Us not seeing these things everywhere don't play a part into our brains. We're not gonna do that.
I struggle with that, Reeta. I really do. I struggle. It's to me, it's like when people wanted to blame rappers for the fact that people were shooting up schools, or blame video games for people shooting up schools, right? I can't do it.
They wasn't playing. They like everything on the radio that you was hearing was edited. So there's that.
Like,
you weren't hearing that. You had to literally go buy back in the day. You had to go buy the version that had the sticker on the album.
Advisory, right?
So that's different. I don't have to buy anything. I can walk out right now and I can go on my phone and I can see a gambling app. I can go somewhere and see a liquor ad.
It's a really interesting conversation that somebody in the tobacco industry would say, you made us stop advertising, right? Like, so if you made us stop advertising, why are we advertising other addictive?
Not absolving this kid from his responsibility. I'm glad that he sees that he has a problem. I'm glad that he's getting help. I'm just saying, be prepared for all of these kids. Now that they have this money, and I'm not trying to take this money away, because I am the person that believes that these kids should get paid to play, right? I'm just saying they have access now, and they have the money to gamble with it, and it's going to be more of these things, and it's not gonna stop.
I realize we got to speed up the wheel. Go ahead, hit the next one.
Yeah, because Glenn got things to do, y'all.
And we've done a really long show. I just realized.
The new movie, Michael, made $217.4 million worldwide this weekend. Most ever for a biopic. That's good news. Bad news is the film holds just a 38% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's turn to our resident film critic, Reeta Hubbard.
Me?
I know you went and saw it.
I did. Yeah, so for me...
Do I need to see it?
You could wait. Let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I enjoyed all of, like, the performances. I thought that MJ's nephew was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Because of the movie, and apparently there was a lot of stuff taken out because people didn't have permissions, it's too choppy. And at times it got a little too cheesy. And that was my problem with the movie. You know, I'm kind of like Caleb in that regard, where, like, I be paying attention to, like, little things in movies and stuff. So everybody loves it, but I think people are in love with, like, the music of it and how good the nephew was, and those two things are true. But everything else, basura. Sorry.
All right, I'll wait. It'll be a streamer for me. That's all I needed to hear. It'll be a streamer for. I mean, I'll definitely watch it. Like, I'm obviously gonna watch it.
I just was like, eh.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Next.
Wheel.
Okay, come on.
It was a super weird weekend in Baltimore. The Orioles literally ran out of fireworks, hitting so many home runs Friday night.
So glad I went to that game.
You did pick well. You did pick well going Friday night.
Only to turn around, then they lost 17-1 to the same Red Sox team on Saturday. Red Sox were so excited about that big win. John Henry went ahead and immediately fired Alex Cora, and they were so despondent about the manager being fired that they ended up winning the series. They won 5-3 on Sunday, and the Orioles are now 13-15 after a bizarre weekend. What do we make of, I don't know, both sides of the and I don't know, the Orioles dead or the Red Sox alive or vice versa? The Red Sox really dead?
As of right now, the Orioles ain't that good. They still trying to figure it out. I mean, that's just where I stand with that. Some people need to step up.
They have a top end of the rotation problem.
Yep, 100%.
They have a serious top end of the rotation problem.
And this is what we've talked. Glenn is red right now. We've talked about this till Glenn was red in the face all off season, and it's. The chickens are coming to roost, and that's what it is.
This is when you just keep saying, well, we've got Kyle Bradish at home. What? Kyle Bradish is your third or fourth starter is a great option. The moment that you are relying on Kyle Bradish to be the top of the rotation guy, he's never pitched a meaningful game in his life. That's not true, but you know what I mean. Like, you're going into the season ostensibly trying to win a World Series without anyone who's ever done anything. You had 14 games of Trevor Rogers. And look, I hope that Trevor Rogers snaps out of the funk that he's in.
I keep trying to tell you, we got Brandon Young. We got
right,
Cade
they got
Povich.
Brandon Young and Cade Povich. Maybe that'll be the solution.
Do you really believe that?
Look, man, I still don't think they're going to bottom out because I think there's a baseline, but it's just really hard for me to believe they're going to be very good because they just don't have the stop. There's not a stopper on this roster. That player doesn't exist. All right, one more.
All
right.
Probably can't solve everything related to the shooting that occurred at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend, but I was interested in your thoughts on those in attendance who, after the evacuation, were seen stealing and snagging, they were snagging bottles of wine and taking selfies in the ballroom afterwards.
You're trying to show it to us?
Yeah, I'm trying to share this with the class.
These people might be my favorite people. Yeah. There's a shooting and they're just in there taking it. Look at her.
I mean, what would you be doing?
Just grabbing her, just like, look, man, if we ain't gonna have a dinner, I better get some wine, right? Like,
I ain't mad at that. You know, it's gonna be a long night.
I don't know, man. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, clearly by that point they knew that there was no active threat. It'd be one thing if there was shots being fired in the background, and that's what people were doing. They clearly realized there's not an active threat anymore. Like, if you want to say, hey, but they didn't know no one had been killed. They didn't know, like it's the selfie part of it. I could see why you would think that would be distasteful, right? Like, it's distasteful that you were taking selfies just feet away from where someone was shooting.
But that's the society we live in,
like,
unfortunately.
no doubt about it. But the wine bottle part, like, it's really hard for me to get worked up about that.
I'm just not gonna get mad
like,
because nobody wants to get. Who is? I'm trying to get the wine.
Right.
Save the wine.
Yep. I can't be mad about that. Like,
I'm not mad about it.
I get it. I totally get it. All right, go ahead and hit that.
What we got?
I got something for you.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to keep my girlish figure now.
Bad news for you.
I know, way too many Cheez-Its. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat that whole thing. I know it's rich. I can just tell.
So I'm a man who, when I was a younger man, the oatmeal cream pie from Little Debbie was very high on my list.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I mean, maybe one seed for me.
Well, it smells like Nana pudding when you open it.
They have put out a new banana pudding cream pie. And you're right, it does smell like banana pudding.
It smells like Nana pudding.
You're not wrong about that. How would you describe the breading on this?
Yeah, it's like a soft cookie.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I feel like this, either one, I just have too many romantic feelings about oatmeal cream pies, and if I had one today, I'd be like, these kind of suck. But if I was not wrong about oatmeal cream pies when I was a kid, I feel like this should be very good.
Okay.
I feel like this should be excellent. Here we go.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Go ahead, I'll catch up.
Very banana.
Tastes like a banana pudding.
Very banana-y.
Is it weird that I almost want more of the banana?
It's like Laffy Taffy almost.
Yeah, that's Laffy Taffy banana.
Yeah.
The banana flavoring.
It's good.
It ain't bad.
It's good. It's not
but
living up.
I was not a big banana Laffy Taffy eater, and it does remind me of that, but it's still not bad.
I also think you're getting too much of the
cake. The
Yeah,
cake.
too much of the cake.
That's fine.
In compare, I don't think the ratio is correct. I think you need more banana pudding cream and less cake in that combination. Still not bad. 1 to 10. Holy crap! How do we do a 2-hour show today? How many are you giving that?
I am giving it.
You always do this one?
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's not that bad. I mean, I wouldn't eat it again, but it's not bad.
Griffin?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't eat it again. Well, I don't know. I mean, if I had to, I'd eat it. 5.
Rita's right. It's a 6. It's
Yeah.
good.
So
Okay.
it's
It's good
fine.
enough.
It's fine.
It's good enough. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed because
I like Cheez-Its better.
I had high hopes for those.
Yeah.
All right, very good. You want to plug anything?
No, but somebody told me I might be winning an award. I got an email
my
that
God.
asked for a headshot. I don't know. We'll see, y'all.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
know. Once I find out what it is, I'll let you guys know.
Excellent. I love that. Let's plug in winning awards,
Yeah.
right? Like then we're gonna just
Cool,
call
right?
the award winning.
Yeah.
Excellent. Griffin, you got anything to plug?
Glenn Clark Radio, every day at 11 a.m.
Smart company
Almost.
man right
Yeah.
there. Smart
I love
company
that.
man.
Love that.
At Griffin_Bass
Yeah.
is how you follow him. At the NFL Chick, Gridiron Gals in the Baltimore Beat for her. At Ray_Dunn_. We still love Caleb. We'll see you back here soon. Griffin, thank you for helping. Thank you for helping us out this week. I'm at Glenn Clark Radio and GlennClarkRadio.com. Thanks everybody who came and said hello at Paw Jack Runway. Ask me about the fun story about how my wife managed to park at the Renaissance.
How did she manage?
And I had to break into the parking garage to get her car out
God.
at the
Oh,
end
God.
of the night.
Oh,
You
God.
get a chance. Ask me about that
God.
whale of a tale.
Down for tomorrow, I guess.
Oh, my God.
Have a great week. We'll see you next week. This has been Reeta and Glenn on the internet.